Welcome to the Heal Your Hunger Show, where we get to the heart of why you overeat and how to stop. If you struggle with food and weight like I did, welcome home.
Welcome everybody to the Heal Your Hunger Show. So happy to have you here. It is a great day to be alive, and I'm super excited about today's talk. Very brief talk, but on the 10 secrets to surviving a shame attack. Okay, so yeah, if you're here for the first time, by the way, at the Heal Your Hunger Show, we talk about things like shame. We talk about things like shame and negative thinking and how to get out of that. So I'm really excited about today's show. Please like and comment in the iTunes and anywhere else that you might be accessing this show. And also join us in the Secret Sauce group on Facebook. I actually record my shows live in the Secret Sauce group, and that's where we continue the conversation. So when you hear me talking about commenting, hey, I'm live in the Secret Sauce group. If you're in the Secret Sauce group, you can comment when I record my shows live. So just go to Facebook and type in the Secret Sauce to end emotional eating. Love to have you join us there. That's where we chat it up. That's where you can find encouragement and inspiration for overcoming emotional eating, getting to the root cause of emotional eating, because we know it's not about the food. And I'll see you there. On with the show. Hi, friends. I hope you're doing well. I'm excited to share on the heels of my trip back east. Those of you who are my clients, you know what I've been up to. And for those of you who aren't my clients, I'm about to tell you. So I've just spent some time in Maine, my favorite place on earth. I feel like it's God's country. If you're from another beautiful place, I totally understand if you don't agree with me. But those of you who have been to Maine or know of Maine, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I just had a beautiful, close to 3-week vacation. Yeah, I did some work, but mostly spending time with family and friends. My guy and I went sailing for a week with another close friend of mine, Robin Nielsen, and her husband. And we just had a fabulous time, and I'm just kind of in the glow of all that. Plus my niece got married Saturday. So yeah, it's been an amazing time. I'm super grateful. I didn't overeat through my vacation. It wasn't about the food. It was really about the joy and the connections. So I'm happy that food was in its proper place. But I want to talk to you today about something that happened to me. So I ordered a computer before I went away, and I've been needing a new computer, Apple computer, and my cute little computer that I can take with me everywhere, and it's small and fits in a bag. So I ordered this computer, but the color I wanted wasn't in right away. So they told me it wasn't going to be ready till September 14th. So I'm like, okay, I'll be back by then. I'll pick it up then. Perfect, actually. Well, while I was on the sailboat, I got a message that my computer was in, and I was a long ways away from being in California again. So I'm like, but oh well, I'll just get it when I get back. And my guy did say to me, you should contact them and tell them. Well, of course, I didn't do that. So I didn't do that. And unfortunately, when I was on my last leg of my trip, I got a notice that they refunded the computer charge and my computer is being sent back. And I'm like, oh no. But what happened, I felt like it's kind of this outrage, like, that's not fair. And, they didn't tell me they were going to do that. They should send an email that says, hey, do you want it or don't you want it? And give me one more chance. But I had a chance. I could have written to them, called or whatever, even from the boat. We had connection on the boat. So I didn't. And so what happened was, this was the middle of the night where I had gotten up to go to the bathroom, and I checked my email and I saw this, and then I went into this panic, and truthfully, I had a shame attack. And the shame attack was, why didn't you do that? Your partner said, go ahead and write to them, call them, whatever. I didn't. I blew it off. I thought it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I created a reality that wasn't real. So I created a fantasy scenario and chose to believe it. And it wasn't reality. So I was sitting there pissed at myself, panicking about the computer, having to go through all that again of ordering and whatnot. And it sort of devolved into an accumulation of all the things I've done wrong of late. Do you relate to that? Do you relate to creating a list of all the reasons you suck? So that's what I started to do. It was a shame attack. I call it a shame attack because it's like I start thinking about all the reasons why I'm no good. And so I was sort of under siege of these thoughts of shame and self-recrimination. Please put in the comment section if you know what I'm talking about, okay? So I'm having this attack. Obviously I can't sleep because I'm preoccupied with this lapse of judgment, which is not following through on letting them know I was coming back, and perhaps they could have saved it for me and this wouldn't have happened. So what happened was that I lay there being under attack, not being able to sleep, feeling miserable. And finally, I'm like, that's it. I'm going to get my computer and go downstairs and write. And that's what I did. And I really I had written in a little bit, and I feel like I had a backlog of things that I needed to write about. So all these little irritating things or things I've done wrong or things I'm upset about, I'm like, you know what? I feel kind of log jammed, and I'm just going to dump all this. And I did. It's 3:00 in the morning and I'm writing. Okay. I'm at my sister's house and I'm writing, and I just did a brain dump of every reason I suck and, things that were on my mind, things that were concerning me. And it was all kind of, it was all on me. So basically that's what I did. And that was super helpful because then I could go back to sleep. And I did. I went back to sleep. I had a good night's sleep. But it made me think about how common this is for emotional eaters, where we have a very noisy brain that tells us we suck. Okay. And I want to talk about this because in my experience, there's a solution for that. And I'm generally living in that solution where I don't think I suck. I don't say mean things to myself. I don't berate myself. I don't pick myself apart anymore. But I know what that's about because I did it for years. Okay. And I find that emotional eaters are some of the meanest people in the world. Like, we are so mean to ourselves. And that's what we do. We pick ourselves apart. We're critical of ourselves. We're just meanies. Okay. And that exacerbates our eating, doesn't it? Like, the more critical we are, the more we can't win, the more we try to fit ourselves in this little box of perfection. And obviously, who could live in perfection? And we don't measure up, and therefore it's like, see, I suck. So I'm going to eat. What's the use? I'm going to eat. And so I want to talk about surviving a shame attack and the steps that I think are really important to take. And I hope this is helpful for you. So the first one that I would say is to write it out. I mean, I think what I did is a really good thing, and I highly recommend it, where you just get a pen and paper or fingers on a keyboard and you just dump that toxic stuff. Just dump the toxins, because it is toxic. Thinking mean thoughts towards yourself is the worst thing you can do. You don't deserve that, and you wouldn't, you say things to yourself that you wouldn't even say to your worst enemy. And hopefully you don't have any enemies. I don't hopefully have enemies either, but you wouldn't say those things to other people. But all day long, it's a constant rant. So get the toxins out, put it on paper, and get it out of you so it's not stuck to you and it's not running your life. these thoughts, these toxic thoughts aren't, the things we say about ourselves aren't true. Okay, they're not true. But if we let them run the show, we're acting as if they're true all day long. Okay. The second thing that I recommend is being an observer of your thoughts. This is so important. Find some separation. Separate from your thinking mind. Okay. Separate yourself from your thoughts. It's not true. Whatever mean things you say to yourself, it's not true. There might be some truth in it. Like, I should have called Apple and I didn't. So I am kind of irresponsible. I procrastinate and I'm like, oh, it'll be fine. I like to live in a fantasy world and think that's how the world is. Just make stuff up. Okay. So there's some truth there, but I'm not going to beat myself up over it. Because that doesn't help. It just is what it is. They canceled the order. They're refunding me. I got to start over. BFD. Okay. So that's the thing, is like, I don't want to be attached to those thoughts of thinking I'm bad, because that just takes me down the rabbit hole, and I don't want to overeat thinking I'm bad. So really important for me to hear my mind. Like, I was laying there at night thinking, wow, I'm really going to town here. I dumped that toxic stuff, and I'm super aware when my head starts doing that rant thing, that rant and you're bad. I grew up believing, friends, that I was stupid, I was bad, and I was ugly. These are my 3 driving thoughts. This is what was running the show for me. And I acted accordingly. I tried to prove I wasn't stupid, and that kind of made me look stupid. I mean, not really, but sort of. I mean, it just, anytime somebody's trying to prove they're not something, they end up looking like they are more than ever. So, bad, I tried to do all these good acts to try to prove I wasn't bad. So I was always trying to overcome these fundamental beliefs about myself. But they were running the show. I didn't feel worthy of love. I didn't feel worthy of good treatment because I thought I was bad. And thankfully, I don't feel that way today, but it's because I became an observer of my mind and separated myself. I'm like, oh, I'm starting to think I'm bad. Let's unpack that. How could that really be? So it's really important that we observe when our mind is attacking us. Okay. When you're on this rant of self-hatred, observe it. Don't believe it. Observe it. Don't believe it. Okay. So you're like, wow, my mind's really attacking me. Name it. Name it for what it is. I'm under attack. I'm having a shame attack. Call it a shame attack, because that separates you from it. And it's no longer the truth. It's no longer who you are. It's your mind attacking you. Okay. And I find that helps me distance myself from it, where it's just thoughts and no longer the truth about me. Super important not to let your mind win. The third thing is start to examine, and this can happen in your writing also, start to examine what the root of that shame is. What's the root of it? If you had parents who said mean things to you, or a father or mother who said mean things to you, or told you you were no good, or you didn't measure up, or you're bad, or you're unwanted, whatever it is, and those thoughts come up in your shame attack, well, obviously we need to take a look at that. We need to see that, yeah, this is how I was conditioned. My mentor used to say, yeah, you come by that honestly. And what he meant is, you were raised that way. You were raised to believe that. So you come by it honestly. Okay. It's no wonder you think that way. Okay. And it's not an excuse. It's not like, well, my parents said that, therefore I'm this way. We can't stop there. We have to take constructive action to get out of it. But we do have to see first that we're in it and observe it. It's really important to look at how we got the way we got, how we came by these things honestly. It's a worthy examination to have some reflection around our childhood and how we adopted certain habits. If you're in therapy, therapists like to take you back there, and you've probably gone there. If you're not in therapy, it's not about blaming anybody. It's about seeing that there are roots to how we feel about ourselves. You know, I had great parents. I love them. But I think they were struggling with self-worth in certain ways, and they were wicked people pleasers. So I know I got my people pleasing from them. I mean, it's all about what the neighbors think, you know, all about image. So it helped me to see I was raised with that. Of course, that dies, like it takes a long time for that to die off. Okay, so it's not a bad thing to understand there's history to our habits. The fourth thing is talking back to those voices. I like to say, "Oh, I suck. Thanks for sharing." So I talk back to my thoughts. You know, if I'm under siege, it's really important. Again, we don't want to take our thoughts for truth anymore. We want to challenge those thoughts. It's really important when these thoughts have had the run of us, and we just believed it's like, oh yeah, I am bad. You're right, I'm bad. You're right, I don't deserve anything. When we've done that, the thoughts keep running like they're running the show. But when we stop, we're just like, wait a minute now. I understand you think that, but I'm not going to buy in anymore. So talk back to your thoughts. So I say, oh, thanks for sharing. Yeah, very nice of you to share how you feel about the situation. But I'm going to choose to see it differently. I'm going to choose to believe I'm good. I'm good. I may feel bad, but fundamentally, I'm a child of God and I'm good. By the way, that's true for you too. Okay, so talk back to them. Take control. Okay, stop letting them run the show. So important. Okay, so number 5 is create a new narrative. Okay, create a new narrative. You know, this isn't how you would talk to a friend, right? If you just think about how you would talk to a friend who is struggling and comes to you saying, I just feel like the worst person in the world. What would you say? You know, think of what you would say with compassion to a friend. That's what you need to be saying to yourself. Okay. Another thing I recommend is affirmations. You know, I have certain affirmations that I read every day. You know, our subconscious mind needs to be retrained. And when you use affirmations, it helps. It chips away. There's other things you need to do, but that certainly helps. Number 6, write a letter affirming your worth. Write a letter, just again, this is another way to train the subconscious. Writing is powerful. Write down the truth about you and what you know. You're a child of God. You're good. Nothing can change that. You're lovable. Nothing can change that. You know, this is something, I find that we have to advocate for ourselves. We have to become our best advocates. And so much of the time we aren't. So this is so important. Number 7 is pray. I need God's help with this stuff. Guys, I need God's help. I need God's loving grace to heal me and to heal this fevered imagination that I suck. So prayer is so important. Number 8 is self-compassion. Oh my gosh, we need that so much. I teach my clients about self-care, and they do something called the 6 self-care success secrets. If you've read my book, I write about it in my book. This is one of the best ways for us to start becoming our own advocate, is to take time for self-care, meditation, prayer, reading spiritual literature. Take time for self-care, and that is an act of self-compassion. So when we've been against ourselves for so long, hating ourselves, we have to combat that with new actions of self-love and self-care. Number 9 is act as if you're worthy. Act as if you're worthy. You've heard the words act as if. Pretty good. We act our way into right thinking. This is how we change our thought patterns. Act our way into right thinking. Act like you're worthy. What would a worthy person do? They'd go ahead and go for that promotion. They'd go ahead and give that guy their number. You know, what would a worthy person do? Okay, act as if you're worthy. Go ahead and give that hug. Don't be afraid of being rejected to somebody you know who's going to receive it. important. And number 10, so important, friends. Have people in your life who will reflect the truth about who you are. Have really encouraging, loving, super, beautifully affirming friends who will keep telling you you're good, keep telling you you're beautiful, keep telling you you deserve all the good that's available. So I hope that's helpful. I'm going to read them back to you because I have the list. Number 1, write it out. Number 2, be the observer of your thoughts. 3, examine the roots of the shame. 4, talk back to the voices. 5, create a new narrative. 6, write a letter affirming your worth. 7 is pray. 8 is self-compassion. Do acts of self-compassion, meaning self-care. 9, act as if you're worthy. And 10, have friends that can help reflect the truth about who you are. See it in their eyes, hear it from their perspective, because you should not be taking your word for anything regarding you, okay? But we have to retrain our minds so we start saying and hearing the truth. And the truth is, you're a child of God, you're beautiful, you're wonderful, you deserve love. Most of all, you deserve your love. So I hope that's helpful. Thanks so much. Please comment and tell me what you do when you're under a shame attack. Take care.
If you enjoyed this podcast and want to get free support, insider health info, exclusive invites to events, and more, visit healyourhunger.com.